Okay, everybody, welcome to our TLB networking event. Happy to have you all here. And my name is Bobby. I'm the founder of TLB Club, which is known as the Thought Leadership Brand Club. Essentially, it's a membership community for typically small business owners or people who want to learn how to build their digital strategy, monetize better, and grow their business, but also be with a bunch of other like-minded people on the same journey. And we support people with coaching calls and tech calls, LinkedIn clinics, coaching, answering any questions that you have along the way. And of course, we have lots of meetings, but this is more of a networking event. So we want to keep meet and greet each other. So that's kind of what it's all about. So I see Lynn is here, and I see Tim is here, and Melanie is here, and we have a couple of people who are guests today. So now I see that you're not, you don't have your cameras on, but if you are open to it, we'd love to see folks. And that's what networking is. Imagine networking. Imagine a networking event with a bag over your head. So it's kind of hard to talk to. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. So, that's kind of what it's actually funny. I used that joke when I did one of the first Zoom meetings, and I was like, oh, I was doing a Zoom call where I was teaching people how to present and speak better at the workplace. And I was like, guys, we can't, if I'm going to teach you how to speak and present better, I need to see you because they have their cameras off. And I was like, because, like imagine you're doing a presentation with a bag over your head. I think that how will the VP feel about that? I don't know. They probably won't like that. So just a thought. If you
It
can't,
made a lot of money for the unknown comic back in the 70s and early 80s.
I remember the unknown comic. I remember him. Did you ever find out what he looked like?
I don't know if he ever revealed himself or not, to be honest with you.
I did find out about it. He made a movie. It was some police movie, like one of those silly movies in the 70s. And he was a skinny guy with a little mustache. But so yeah, he was in it. But I remember I forget what it was called. I have to look it up. Anyway, on to networking. So let's start with a little bit of introductions, and maybe share something that you're excited about this year. So I'll start. So my name is Bobby Umar. In terms of what I do, I'm a motivational speaker. For the past 20 years, I've done 1,000 keynotes workshop across 4 continents. I spoke mostly about uh, personal branding, authentic networking, thought leadership, digital content strategies, and storytelling, things like that. I'm also a 5-time TEDx speaker and a 4-time TEDx invite decliner. So now I actually help people get clear to their personal brand, build their thought leadership brand by landing a TEDx talk and using it to leverage their authority, their awareness building to amplify their business results and all the things that they're trying to do. And something I'm excited about this year, I'm going to say two things. One is I recently invested in a program to help me do Facebook ads, and I'm pretty excited about the fact that my Facebook ads are quite honed now. And a year ago, and I'm not a techie, couldn't even tell you a thing about them, but now I get it, and I now have I spend money on ads, and I get approximately $5 to $7 per opt-in to my list, and I'm averaging between $50 to $70 for a call for my TEDx program. That's pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. But the other thing I'm excited about is my son is graduating from high school, so he's going to go to university, and I'm both excited. I'm also going to be heavily emotional about that, but it's my firstborn. But I'm still excited about it because he already has a school picked. He already has his program of his choice that he wants. He's got a scholarship. I'm very, very happy and proud of him, but that's kind of what's happening. So let's move on to someone else here. I'm going to go to Joey because I know he's shy and he's come out of his shell. So Joey, share something that tell us a bit about yourself and maybe tell us maybe something you're excited about this year.
Thank you, Bobby. I am trying to break out of my shell, and this is a great vehicle to do that. I am an author and a speaker, and I just started a business as a ghostwriter. I'm very happy to say I have my first client, which I'm really excited about. I am also very excited about getting more into learning piano. One of my kids are both performers on stage, and one of my goals is to get on stage with them and play keyboards with them, which would be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to doing that. And I've also done an audio version of my first book, which I have to now get into Audible and Amazon, and I'm working on that as well. So I'm pretty busy now, even though I'm retired. I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And I also moderate a networking group on Tuesday mornings. I took over that group back in June. And although it was created for people that are looking for work, I'm really finding out that the speakers that I'm bringing on, like Melanie and like Lynn, um, are providing information that anybody could use, whether you're working or not. So I think the requirement now is that as long as you're breathing, you're welcome to join the group. So I'm really excited about that as well. So I'm pretty busy, even though I'm retired. Thanks.
Yeah, we filled the time, so that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let's go to let's go to one of our guests. Some of the people are TLB Club members, some are guests. So let's go to David Sheehan. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. I'm David Sheehan. I'm from the New Haven area in Connecticut. I am currently in between roles. Most recently, I was at Oracle Corporation for a little over 20 years in a customer success role, looking for something where I can be an advocate for customers or people or teams, just, be the person who listens, employs empathy, let them know that they're heard, that they're not alone, that their problems are understood, help them figure out what they need in life, get them where they need to be. Separate from that, I'm also a professional comedian. I've been doing that for a little more than 20 years. And one thing I'm psyched about for 2026 is that I'm in the process of helping launch a branch of a comedy fundraising organization in my area for anyone who's looking to raise money for uh, school functions, churches, lodges, whatever cause it, personal, medical, whatever you need to raise money for. This is an organization that helps you do that by putting on a very fun comedy night and helping raise funds. So I'm looking forward to learning about and getting into that.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Let's go to one of our members here. I'll go to Melanie Mitchell Wexler.
Thank you and welcome everyone. So, as Bobby said, my name is Melanie. I am an executive career coach as well as a LinkedIn strategist, and also basically what I do is I work with professionals to help them with their career pivots from everything from resumes to your LinkedIn strategy, networking, job search strategy in particular. But I also work with coaches, consultants, and business owners to help them with their LinkedIn strategy and understanding how to be found, be seen, and be heard when it comes to LinkedIn and helping with your overall LinkedIn presence. So super excited. And I would just add that I'm also a member of the leadership team to work alongside Bobby. And please feel free, everybody, to drop your LinkedIn chats into the chat as well so that we can connect with you as well.
Awesome, thanks. Let's keep going. Lots of great people here today. So I see my sage Obi Bald Kenobi's here. So I'm gonna let Tim introduce himself to everybody. Go ahead, Tim.
It takes me a while to find the button to unmute myself. It's technology. All that stuff's new to me. David, I wanted to say hey to you and say, hey, it's nice to see a fellow Baldy-Fi Baldy on here. And I would also like to get in on your fundraising. I need some to support my cocaine and hooker habits. So if you could help me out with that, I'd appreciate it.
I don't know that we can help with that, but we can talk.
Okay. Anything you can do for me, I appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm here in Colorado Springs and wanted to check out y'all's group and see what's going on. And, I'm just happy to be here and join in and listen to you guys and see what's going on.
Thanks, Tim. Anything you're looking forward to this year?
Yeah, I'm hoping to. One of the things, let me tell you what else I do besides being a smartass,
Yeah.
is I help out high achieving alcoholics attain lasting sobriety. And that's kind of my goal. I want to get more clients doing that and get that off the ground. I've already done a TED talk. I'd like to do another one. So there's kind of my goals for 2026.
Okay,
That is
awesome.
the year, right?
Yeah, okay, I love that. Thanks so much. Let's hear from now I know Joel and Sean and Kondo are don't have their cameras on, but Joel, if you're available to speak and say hello, we would love to hear an introduction and something you're looking forward to this year. 5 second silent awkward pause. Maybe he's away. Who knows? Let's try now Sean. Sean, are you able to do a quick introduction, say hello, and tell us a bit about what you're looking at, what you're looking forward to this year? Maybe they'll be back later. Kondo ready?
Hunting
Oh,
rabbits.
I know. Condo ready? Are you there? Would you like to speak? There we go.
Hi, my name is Condell Reddy. I'm from the BC metro area, and I'm looking to move into a new role this year. So that's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Connell. Okay, great. And I want to let's go to Tim Jacobs. Tim Jacobs, introduction. What are you looking forward to this year?
Hey everybody. Yes, I'm Tim Jacobs. To David Sheehan. I was born and raised in New Haven. Toad's Place, Pepe's Pizza, Sally's Pizza, everything.
Yep.
So it's good to
Been to
see
all
you.
of them.
Yep. So I'm Tim Jacobs. I run JWC Publishing, and mainly what we do is we help business owners create a book to help kind of scale their business, gain some clients, make some connections. We do everything from ghostwriting all the way through to marketing. One thing I'm looking forward to that we just announced today actually is with the Magnus Media Group, which I'm 50% owner in. We just started to work with Mark Kendall on his book, and you might not know the name, but I'm sure you all know the band Great White and their song Once Bitten, Twice Shy. He is a lead guitarist and wrote all the music and lyrics for that group, so we're excited to work with him and write his book.
Very cool. Thanks, Tim. That's awesome. Lynn Williams, how about you?
Kind of stressed. A lot of things on a little bit too much on my plate right now, but it'll all subside. Um, it's very stressful building a brand new website, and when you especially can't talk to the developer. Um, but anyway, I'm Lynn Williams. I guide you to your keywords to beat the bots. In other words, I write resumes, LinkedIn profiles, and my focus is on keywords. In addition, I run a 501c3 nonprofit for career education where we offer online and in person greater Philadelphia area workshops and networking events for job seekers, for self employed, as well as employed. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We run about, I don't know, 18 to 25 events a month. And there's my stuff in the chat.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lynn. And just a note for Sean and Joel, if you want to speak, you're more than welcome to just ping me and let us know that you are. I see Sean put some information there on the side. That's great too. And also, what are you looking forward to this year? That's what I just want to hear too. I want to hear a little bit of that. I also am delighted to see Amolia. Amolia, Happy New Year. Good to see you. Please go ahead and share your introduction about who you are, but then also share something you're looking forward to this year.
All right. Hi, everyone. Well, I'm happy to be back. I've been gone for a while, took a small break from everything, but my name is Amalia. I am a live audio events and multi-streaming strategist, also known as the Audio Events Queen. I help leaders amplify their voice, visibility, and influence through live streaming audio only. So you don't have to cut your camera on. Those that know me, my camera's usually off. But I'm so happy to see everyone for the new year. I want to make sure I cut my camera on. So good seeing you guys, familiar faces, Joey, Lynn, Melanie. So nice to meet you, Tim, David, and oh, we got two Tims. Hi, Tims. And then I don't see the other ones, but you're more like me with the camera off. So hi, Joel, Sean. I believe it's Kendall. So I just want to say I'm looking forward to keeping things simple this year. I don't want to burn out. So I want to show up the best way I can, but smarter, not harder. And so that's what I'm looking forward to this year.
Got it. Okay. Okay, great. Um, I have a couple ideas of what I want to do, but Melanie, I'm gonna hand it to you to if you have any. Is there anything else you wanted to do like for our call today? But I have some ideas of what I want to talk about, but I wanted to kind of see where your head was at first.
Yeah, no, go right ahead, Bobby. We'll take the lead from you on this. So
Okay. All right. So, I mean, look, the reason why we're doing a network event is really to get to know each other a little bit better and kind of see kind of where we're at. And normally what I do is I put us into smaller groups. But I think, I think it's good to have a discussion with this group because right now it's like there's about 10 of us here. So I think that's it's a good number. I don't think we need to break into any smaller groups here. But I guess what I'd like to understand from each of you is let's start with something nice and then we'll start with something tougher. How about that? So I'll start with something we're grateful for. And I'll open it up. I don't want to like go to, I don't want to do like a round table. Okay, Amalia, Joey, Lynn, then David. Like, I don't want to do that. I'd love to hear people just unmute and share or put in the chat. But tell me something that you're grateful for that, maybe it's not something you already said, right? Because I already said I'm grateful for my son going to university and I'm grateful for, I guess the work I do, but like something else. Anything else you're grateful for? And this time I won't go first. I'm going to make Melanie go first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm always grateful for my family and particularly my kids. That my kids are doing, they're strong. I mean, they're older. They're not babies anymore. They're adults, but they're strong. They're thriving. And yeah, I just be really grateful that I got to spend like almost 2 weeks with my daughter. She's at University of Louisville, so she went back and um, started back in her master's PhD program. So got to spend some time, first time in 6 months with her, and got to see my son briefly before he jetted off and is traveling. So yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm always, first and foremost, always grateful for.
Awesome. Anybody else want to? I mean, obviously, I could say my other kid too, but because Melanie's the kids thing. But anyone else want to share something they're grateful for, past or current? David, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm grateful for, I say, having found resiliency within the last few years. Currently in job search mode, and just knowing that whatever you go through in life, things are going to be all right. And mindset is such a huge part of that. Just having found that has really helped ground me and see all the good things that are coming out of this uncertain time I'm going through. So I have rough days, sure, but I'm able to just remember that I have a lot of things to be grateful for. I never lose sight of that. And that's what I believe is going to get me to not only the next role, but also where I need to be in life.
Thanks for sharing that, David. Resilience is something I think is a really powerful thing. In fact, I know that, from my work as a TEDx coach, the three biggest topics in TEDx are AI and tech, climate sustainability, and personal resilience. And people who share personal resilience stories, they do quite well when it comes to landing TEDx talks. So I think that's a great topic that I think a lot of people, I love to talk about it too. But Joey, you don't mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, David, I want to invite you to my networking group on Tuesday mornings. It's one of many that I'm a part of. It's the only one I moderate, but I'm involved in many, so to speak. And I don't know if you've had it with networking groups or not, but I find them to be valuable and supportive. And you know what? You're going to meet somebody who's going to help you.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
networking. So,
got,
thank you.
I think your contact information is in the chat. I'll get you on my mailing list. I also post on LinkedIn on Wednesday or Thursday the event. Next weekend, next week I'm not doing an event because I have jury duty, but it's every Tuesday morning from 10 to 11:15ish Eastern time. We always have a different guest speaker. Like I said, I've had Melanie and Lynn on already, and it's a great opportunity to network, be around people that are in your boat, and vice versa. You can
Great, thank
support
you.
them, and they can support you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I,
sure.
I should also add that Joey is known for helping job seekers. So
Right. I wrote a
Joey,
book about it.
don't
Right.
feel bad about saying that, Joey. You can say that.
I wrote a book about helping people find
Okay.
work. I wrote a book about, I'm writing a follow-up to that. And I talk about it 20, I could talk about it 29 hours a day and not even take a bathroom break. It's something that's near and dear to my heart. And I love helping people and connecting them, and just doing what I can is my way of giving back and paying it forward. So happy to bring you on board.
And Joey, is that what you're grateful for?
It's one of many things I'm grateful for. When you asked that question, I was thinking, what am I going to say? And I can tell you it's this. I'm grateful that I have both of my boys living in New Jersey, which is where I'm from. So they're no more, they're at least an hour away, if that. And all of their children also with them as well. So I get to see my grandchildren, if not on Facebook, visibly and physically, at least once a week. I'm babysitting my grandson now. He's about 7 weeks old. I know he won't remember any of the time we're having together, but I am soaking it all in, because when I'm with him, I forgot all the time I was with my boys. So I am soaking it all in, and I'm pretending that he's one of my kids, and but here's the difference. I'm spoiling him. The other ones
Right.
didn't get spoiled. I disciplined the other ones. This one's getting free. It's getting free reign.
And by the way, I want to make a comment on the bald club because I think that I'm trying to grow my hair long because I want to be part of the Joey long hair club. That's
So
what I.
yeah,
That's what I'm doing.
and I didn't want to bring it up because I have learned that those who are follically challenged sometimes don't like seeing me on screen. But I will offer this up to you guys, and I've offered it up to others. I haven't had a haircut in about 18 months, and I don't plan on getting a haircut because in my mind, if I can, I will, and so I can, so I will. Because one day I won't be able to, and I'll look like some other people that we are seeing here. So I'm offering to all of you, as I start to lose my hair, I'll save it and send it to you. And if you want to glue it on, or if you're happy with the way you look, that's fine too. I won't take it personally.
And before we go to the next person on gratitude, I want to comment on David discussion about job searching. I want to share a tip. This is a tip that, and the reason I bring it up because it comes up a lot. Just yesterday, someone messaged me on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, Bobby, we haven't talked for a while, and I want to let you know that I've left my mortgage organization, and I'm looking for jobs as a mortgage specialist. So I want you to please think of me if any jobs come up." This is a very common thing a lot of people do, and it doesn't work because I have thousands of people coming to me with stuff, and I'm not looking for a job, nor am I specifically looking for mortgage specialists. So the chance of it coming up in my lifetime or my timeline is 1 in a million. So I think what's better, and again, we have Melanie, Lynn, and Joey, and a whole bunch of career experts here too in our community. But to me, what I do, especially if it's a first connection, and I'll say, "Hey, listen, here's what I think would work really best. Let's get on a 15-minute call, okay? And what I'll do is I get on a call with them for 15 minutes. Now, these are people if I really want to help them. So I can't help everybody because I get thousands of messages. But if it's the first connection I know really well, what I would suggest you do is when you do that, like it's really hard for anyone to be mindful. Or when people are trying to pitch me, "Hey, Bobby, I started a new business in mortgages or career coaching." I'm like, look, the truth is, if I'm going to refer someone for career coaching, I'm going to take them to Lynn or Melanie. If you want someone, you're starting a book publishing thing, Tim is my guy, right? I have people already that I'm going to promote first. I'm not going to promote this person that just messed me up the first time in 3 years. But what I will do is I'll get on a call with them, and for 15 minutes, I say, "Okay, I'm going to show you my LinkedIn screen." I go to my LinkedIn. I say, "You want to find some connection referrals? Let me help you. So tell me what search parameters I should put in there." They tell me I start typing things in. We'll search. And then within 5, 10 minutes, if we do the search right based on what their criteria is, we'll have a list of 10, 20 people. And I'll say, "Anyone here of interest to you? Like, look at their titles, anything catch your interest?" And what'll happen is within 10 minutes, they will have a list of 5 to 10 people, right? They write them down because it's their job to do that. It's not my job to do that. They write them down. And then I say, "Now you go back, go research those people, come back to me with your top 5 list in order from 1 through 5. And then what I will do is I will introduce you to one person from that list and make an introduction. And two, if they're a really good friend of mine, because again, I can't introduce everybody. It just takes forever. So, and I'll base it on who you rank, but also who I think will be a good pick. Because there's certain people that they pick, they might not be a good connection, or I don't know them as well, or they're not really active on LinkedIn. But that's what I do. And in that 15 minutes, I provided probably way more value than just the random thought about seeing somebody. So that's just something a tip I want to share. Does that make sense, David?
Yes, and I agree with not doing the if you've heard anything. I know that's too bland, so I'm focusing more on saying, making the connection and seeing what comes from that rather than asking or saying, "I think I can help you. Can we talk about this? I'm more interested in that." Forming those connections. I think that's more valuable overall and helps those things grow. So thank you very much for sharing that. I agree.
No problem. That's awesome.
In the famous words of Dale Carnegie, who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People, the sequence of events is be interested before you're interesting. To your point, David, right? So you got to ask them about themselves and what's in it for them, because they really don't care about you unless you make it a point to be interested in them first. That's just human nature.
Right. Okay. Let's keep going to anyone else that wants to share something they're grateful for. We'll bring it up.
Did I mention my grandchildren? I did, right?
You did. You mentioned the grandkids.
I wasn't sure.
I'll second that.
And you're spoiling them and stuff. Okay.
So
Anyone else want? Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
my grandsons are 5, 2, and 7 months old. And my daughter posted the funniest video with the 5-year-old at basketball. Well, he had the basketball and he was going to run down the court with it, not dribble, run down the court holding the basketball. I got a lot of great laughs. So I'm grateful for little people not knowing stuff and creating smiles.
Awesome. Anybody else want to go? Okay, I'll go. I'll go. I'll just say that uh, I'm grateful for my mom. And I'll be very upfront. I went to see my mom has Alzheimer's dementia, and I've been seeing her every week. And today's the day I went to see her. It wasn't a good day. It was hard. She had a bad day, and she was angry and saying lots of things she shouldn't be saying, and it was kind of hard for me. But I'm sharing it because gratitude gets me through because she's been there for me. She taught me a lot, you know. And before I get too emotional about it, I'm sharing it because gratitude and empathy get me through a lot of stuff, especially hard things like this. Because, look, I'm a business owner, I'm a parent of teens, I've got aging parents, I've got a business that thrives in some ways and is catastrophic in other ways. Like this life, right? My health, there's good and bad. But the gratitude and empathy gets me through those things. So I want to give a shout out to my mom because she's 81 and she's, has been, it's been, maybe it's hard for me because, I am very close to her and I do love her. And so when this happens, it's harder, I guess. But I'm grateful for everything she's done for me. And so even though it was a hard day, I'll sleep tonight. I'm talking to my siblings, I'm talking to my dad, and, we're all, trying to do what we can to support her. But yeah, a lot of gratitude for everything she did for me. So
Bobby, are there support groups out there for the kids of Alzheimer's patients? Do you know?
there's a ton of support groups, resources for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Actually the best thing that's been helpful to us is my older brother, his mother-in-law had the same issue, so he's
Oh,
experienced this. So he's been sharing a lot of his insights with us on our little WhatsApp chat, and so that's been really good.
right.
Um, and today I was fierce getting a lot of WhatsApp questions because I didn't know what to do in certain situations. But yeah, but look, that's the thing. Like the people get burnt out, and I know Molly talked about burnout. I'm
Yeah.
also very experienced with burnout in my business too, like many years ago. So it's something that we can also talk about in terms of how does one manage burnout. But I think the burnout also with care. My dad is 82. He still runs his accounting business and tax consulting business, and he's getting burnt out. And dad is like, Dad, you need respite. You need to have rest from this because it's a lot for you. And he didn't really acknowledge it until very recently in the last like couple of months. So that's good. Anybody else want to share something they're grateful for? Amalia.
Bobby, my heart goes out to you. I'm dealing with the same thing with my dad. And when Joey, you mentioned support group, believe it or not, AI has been helping me navigate scenarios. I've been going to
Really?
chat like, so how
Interesting.
do I, have this type
Really?
of conversation? And it's been it's been giving me a good way of reframing my mind to understand it from the perspective of the disease and how to go about conversations and how to approach things differently. If giving me alternatives, like I don't know if your mom got to a point to where they don't like bathing and very strong, like it's almost like you want to just tie them up and throw them in there in the tub, but you can't do that. So it's just giving like having bathing wipes around. It's just giving you things to help the situation without agitating them because they can get very aggressive. I don't know if you experienced that yet. But it's not the easiest. So I should say, AI has been helping me with caregiving as far as
Hmm.
myself and how to show up more sensitive, like understanding a little better.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's a
Wow.
great idea. I
Yeah.
mean, I know that you can get an AI girlfriend, but I didn't
Oh
know
my
there was
God.
an AI support assistant. That's a good idea. So that's good. Thanks so much for that.
But I just want to say I'm grateful for my daughter.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, we had a lot going
Whom I've
on.
met,
Yes, she's,
she
oh my
she was
goodness.
lovely. Yeah.
She's such a big girl. She has stepped up in the season. I did have to step away for medical, and I just want to say I'm so grateful for her because she just turned 13, but the maturity and the understanding and just the support she has been in this season, I just want to say I'm truly grateful for my sunshine.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, cool. Um, and I thought maybe I can also, if anybody else has anything they want to share from gratitude standpoint, you can certainly put your hand up or on mic, and that's fine. Um, I thought it might be good actually to talk a bit about burnout, and I'll tell you a little story what happened to me, and I'd love to hear your insights too. The first time I had a big burnout was, I remember it was the September. So the fall back to school thing when the kids were younger and my business, like it gets kind of crazy, and I had some workshops and events I was doing, and what happened, I started delaying them. I kept canceling meetings, delaying them, and then 3 months later, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I think I'm just burnt out here. This is really bad. Like I just haven't done anything for 2 months." It was just this happened about maybe 10 years ago, and then the next year, it happened again. Very next year, the exact same thing happened in September, October. I completely shut down, stopped doing anything, canceling meetings, events, pushing workshops further and further back into November. And I was like, oh man. And that's when I realized the second time, okay, you know what? That's burnout. And I was shutting down and I didn't want to really talk to anybody. Not that I was completely shut down, but I just was like canceling all the stuff. So the following year, I was like, you know what? Number one, acknowledging that it's happening, it was key. But number two, now how do I deal with this? At the time, I didn't have AI, but I did have a support group, and I asked the community, "Hey guys, what do you think? What should I do?" So having a community, a support group like TLB Club, it could be your church, it could be your speaker community, it could be anything like that. These are all things that can help you. But having that community works goes a long way. And the second thing was, but because I started planning for it. So in August, I was planning for what happens when the burnout might feel a certain way. And I was thinking about what do I want to book? What do I not want to book? How am I going to manage my time? And so having a plan, acknowledging it, knowing who my support group was, after that, the burnout was prevented. And so that's something how I managed it. But I think for me, that's kind of what I do. But what do you guys do? Like the rest of you, like let's hear your thoughts. What are some of your thoughts on managing to deal with burnout? I think Joey's unmiked here.
I, you know what? I think I don't know if it was either Melanie or Lynn kind of alluded to it. Is that when I'm in a situation where I'm stressed and stressing out, and I typically can't control what's happening. In my mind, I'm like, you know what? I can't control this. It is what it is. And 50 years from now, none of this will matter. Heck, 50 days from now, none of it'll matter. And it just calms me down and it puts everything in perspective. And it could be worse, could be better. It is what it is. Let's move on. And that's, I don't know. That's part of my, positive beats negative everyday mantras. It's just if there's dark, there's got to be light, right? If there's down, there's got to be up. Everything is double sided. So I just look at the positive because, and again, I've said this 1,000 times. No guarantee if you're positive and upbeat that positive things will happen to you or for you. No guarantee. I guarantee you negative, all bets are off. So what's the point? It makes no sense. Serves no function. I'll get off my horse.
Thanks, Joey, for your TED Talk.
You
Tim
are.
Jacobs, go ahead.
No
Yeah,
charge.
I think it's more of trying to stay ahead of getting burnt out. So for me, it's just kind of setting a certain pace, setting boundaries, and respecting my time as well as others. And I think just like Joey said, if it's something you can't control, let it go through. Just let it roll on by, and just either deal with the aftermath or just learn something from it and make it a positive.
Great insight, Tim. Thanks. The reframe, the mindset reframe, and changing that perspective goes a long way.
Yep.
Anyone else want to share their thoughts on this topic? How do you manage burnout? Melanie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just reiterate what Tim said. Is just in terms of boundaries. I mean, I think that you have to. I've gone through, dealing with a loss of two parents in back-to-back years, and running a business, and still being a mom even to young adults. They still need their parents, so. So definitely have gone through burnout in many different stages. But like for me, my biggest thing is my boundaries of like, I mean, the people here that know me know that I talk about it all the time. I have 1 hour of time that's booked in my calendar. I don't take calls before, I had a client that asked to do an 8 a.m. call, and I said, just respectfully, I don't do 8 a.m. calls. I don't, that's my morning time is important to me. I go and work out, and that's my me time. I don't respond to emails. I don't even, I might be on my phone, but I'm not texting anybody. I'm not having other conversations. That's just my time. And I think it's important for no matter what season you're in, having that time for yourself and making time for yourself so that you can have time to just rejuvenate and rest and relax, because our brains have to recharge. And so that's something that's really important for our brains, is to have that downtime. So, boundaries are really important to me, um, and honoring those boundaries. That's the other thing of like, that's scheduled into my calendar. So like, I won't budge from that time. So, and then, how the rest of the day goes, we can kind of, like Joey said, we can control how we want to look at it, and, have the moment for when the bad crap happens. And then, but do we want to carry that with us, or how do we want to shape the rest of our day? That is our decision. So we have to be very open to that.
Thanks, Melanie. Any other thoughts or comments on burnout? Amolia, go ahead.
Yeah, Melanie and Tim, I feel like both of what you said, staying ahead of it and boundaries, because not saying no to things and saying yes to everything because you feel obligated can burn you out so fast. But for the new year, my goal is to content batch, like pick a day, plan out all my articles and things like that, and keep things simple. I feel like when I'm all over the place and have so much I need to talk about, train about, and push out, it makes everything a lot harder. So kind of narrowing down, having a main focal point this year, keeping everything simple, content batching, and staying ahead of the burnout. I agree with both of you guys. So that is my little 2 cents into kind of how to avoid burnout. And then being in alignment. I feel like alignment and energy makes a difference. I feel like we don't understand that we deplete our energy by being in the wrong spaces too.
Mhm.
So I just say that matters, and just I'm being very intentional this year to help myself avoid burnout, because sometimes negative interaction deplete us just as fast as procrastination and all those other things. So that's my little 2 cents on how to prevent burnout for the year.
And I always say that, saying no to new opportunities is saying yes to current priorities. And if you understand that, then you can manage things better. The other thing I'll share is a thing that I learned from both from Second City improv training in a scene, in a sketch, and also with marriage counseling. There's yes and, which is basically yes, and here's some other ideas I have. And you really want to dive in and collaborate. There's yes, but, which is basically yes, but here are the boundaries that I'm kind of putting into it. There's also no, but, which is basically no, but I'm leaving the door open for something in the future potentially, and then there's no, period, thank you, period, and that's okay too. And and they're all different phrases for different reasons, but it's important to know kind of what those are. Okay. Um, I see that another person joined us, Terrence Seaman. Terrence, if you want to do an introduction, say hello, tell us who you are, tell us a bit something that you're looking forward to this year. We'd love to have an introduction from you. Feel free to do that. If not, I know you're off camera, but I just wanted to ask if you're able to do that. If not, no worries. Oh, there he is. Would you like to say hello?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for the invitation, Bobby. I really was enjoying what everybody was saying about burnout, and I might have missed something because it took me a while to log in here for some reason. But I would add, reach out to others for help. Don't go it alone, and don't sink into your misery. There's probably somebody nearby, maybe a family member, a friend, somebody perhaps from this group right here that would be willing to set aside some time to be with you, listen to you, and maybe give you the benefit of their life story that, who knows, might shift your perspective a little bit. But anyhow, thanks for the invitation, Bobby. I'm in the
Uh,
middle of preparing dinner, so
okay.
I'm multitasking. I'm going to hang in there, but I'm also going to go on mute.
Okay, great. Thanks, Terrence. Appreciate that. Okay. Well, I think that was great. And again, if anyone else wants to pipe in, you're more than welcome to just pipe in. That's totally good. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna turn it to Melanie now. Melanie, I'd like for you to tell us a bit about what TLB Club is doing and what's going on in 2026.
Yeah, so for our members that maybe haven't, keep our updated members as we come into the new year, but also for everybody that's new. TLB community is kind of going through its own transition for 2026. And so, yeah, it's hard to believe that we've, Lynn mentioned in the chat, she's celebrating 5 years. So, um, yeah, I don't know what year do we get watches, Bobby. So, um, so one of the things that, for those that don't know, this actually started on Clubhouse as a social audio, on the social audio platform. It wasn't actually ever meant to be anything more. Bobby was looking to connect with people as he was going through COVID, and him, as he describes himself, as I talk about him in third person, as he's here, as a flaming extrovert, and I'm a flaming introvert. So we both had very different experiences on Clubhouse. But fast forward, people were asking for community, people were asking for places to kind of convene, and that's really what started TLB. It started as a community-based group to help others thrive and to be a support system. But one thing that we noticed last year in particular was a lot of our members were struggling with their businesses. We're struggling with being able to build successful businesses, coming to us with the same questions like, this isn't working, or I'm having trouble doing this. Or maybe like Joey, who I don't want to say Joey's come out of retirement, but took on this group, this networking group, which is actually an amazing group to be a part of. And was like, oh, now I have new challenges I have to figure out. So we made the decision to transform TLB into still community-based 100%, but now we have a challenge. Now our members that join us now will be have the opportunity to walk into the door with the opportunity to grow their business anywhere from 20 to 50%. We have a proven framework. It's a 12-month framework. And being able to take those goals, whether it's a side hustle or whether it's your full-time business, but being able to take that and actually grow it exponentially. So no matter where you're at, no matter if you're just starting off or you're already a six-figure earner. And our goal is to really help people build sustainable lives, not just lives, but businesses, so that they can live the life that they want to live. No longer being stuck in that plateau. Bobby and I both went through a journey last year in our own businesses, and we both hired outside coaches. Again, no matter what level, you always need that support. You always need that assistance. And one of the things that we found ourselves challenged in terms of growing our own businesses. And we want to bring that success that we've had, and we want to bring it to all of our members and our future members as well. So we're super excited about this. We just kicked off our first coaching call, and we have a new format going into the new year where we've actually cut back on some of the things that we've been offering so that we really can help our members grow. And so we're super excited about this. You're going to see a new website coming up soon. I think we're probably close. I know we've got the copy all set, and we still have to probably make some edits and things of that nature, but we're going to have a brand new website. Look to the website, and we're excited to be able to start working with our members one-on-one. And the great thing is that our members are going to get a chance to have personalized phone conversations with Bobby and get their own plan. So it'll be, your growth plan can be customized specifically for you. I think I covered it all.
Yeah, and let me add by saying that having helped people with business growth, with personal brand growth, to building speaker businesses, to building a thought leadership presence, and also helping people land TEDx talks. I can tell you, of the thousands of people I worked with, every time I ask the question, how do you get clients? There's always a big gap missing. Or I'll ask the question, tell me how you're monetizing. And they'll say, well, I'm working on my brand. Okay. Or, oh, yeah, I put content out there. Oh, great. What are you doing to get clients? And most people don't know how to really monetize their digital strategy. So that could be a newsletter, a webinar, your content, your direct message strategy, whether it's on LinkedIn, Instagram, anywhere else. Or they're like, oh, I launched a YouTube channel. Like I spoke to one guy. It's like, yeah, I launched uh, a video series on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. I said, great. How long have you been doing this? 2 years. I said, okay, great. How many book calls you booked? Zero. And then I was like, okay, do you think it's working? And he said, yeah, I have a blueprint and I believe in my blueprint and it's going to happen. And I said, honestly, I said, if I may, 2 years is a long time. 3 months, maybe you could, or 6 months. You need to, like, if you have zero calls, I mean, first you got to get the calls, then you have to take the call to close the calls, but you're not even getting any calls. And he was so stuck in that mindset for 2 years and didn't want to shift. And I was like, wow, okay. But most people struggle with this. It happens all the time. And so for me, the focus that I want to do is like, look, transformation doesn't happen in 1 month. It happens in 6 to 12 months. So if you're willing to work with me and Melanie and all the in-house experts we have, like Joey and Lynn and a bunch of other folks across a broad range of things, in-house tech, sales, networking, AI, all that kind of stuff. The goal is like, let's look at what you're doing specifically, and then my promise to people is I will look at what you have and I'll come up with a new strategy for you that's going to improve your monetization of your digital strategy by 20 to 50%. Because I know there's people that are doing things not the right way, or it can be enhanced in some way. So that's kind of what I focus on. So, and yes, I put 85% in the chat because I think our website's 85% almost done. But yeah, I think for the most part, like the majority of people in TLB Club are business owners. We're all, but it's also people who are in corporate careers because at the end of the day, leadership development, professional development, personal development, becoming a thought leader, these are all things that are part of what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get a job, position yourself as a thought leader or an expert in certain areas, having a strong digital strategy is also going to help you land a job. It's the same way it's also going to land you potential clients and calls for your business. So that's really kind of what we're doing. And we're covering every aspect because, there's different aspects. There's sales, there's marketing, AI, tech, emails, processing systems, contracts. How do I do contracts? Negotiation. How do I negotiate a client? How do I negotiate speaking? How do I negotiate a job offer? And there's people in our community that are career experts, AI experts, tech experts, branding experts, visual experts, virtual media experts. And so the idea is that we want to provide all that kind of in-house support. So with that, I think it's a good segue to ask you guys. This is where we get to more of a harder question. When it comes to your business or when it comes to your, I guess, career growth strategy, what do you think is the hardest thing right now this year for you? And let's talk about it. Or if you have a question specifically, me and anyone else can answer the question. But I think it might be good to just think about what's the biggest challenge right now? What's the stuff that, keeps us up at night? Because let's talk about it. And I know, it's a virtual network event, and maybe people don't want to talk about it, but I'm throwing it out there. I see David unmuted, so go for it, sir.
So I'm not quite in that boat, but looking at myself as the product I'm trying to pitch to a potential company, I think the biggest thing is standing out. There's so much competition between digital social media, so many people doing a lot of the same things. You don't necessarily have to be the best, but maybe are you the most visible? How are you more visible than potential competitors? How are you going to be a better deliver better products or services to potential clients? How do you put yourself in places they can see? I mean, a lot of people do, I think, social media marketing. I've tried a little bit of that in some ways for other things, and I haven't pursued it too heavily, but just it's tough. There's many right ways to do it. There's a lot of precision that comes in, and it's just finding finding the proper brand, something that's eye-catching, something that's memorable, and answers the question, why would a client pick you versus other options?
Okay. Yeah. And is that a question or just a general conversation about what you think is the
Just
biggest challenge?
observational for one of the struggles I'm dealing with. I'm sure business owners, especially small business owners, probably struggle with very similar things.
Okay.
So I have 2 cents I'd like to throw into the pot, if I may. So, are you familiar with the concept of a SWOT analysis, David? So I would suggest you do that on yourself. And so I'll suggest you ask 3 to 5 people in your life to do it as well. People you've worked with, people in your family, maybe some friends. Because you're in the forest, you can't see the trees. There's got to be something that you're great at. Not good, great. But because you're a human, you're gonna downplay that. But yet the humans around you are going, David, how can you not be talking about this? Right? So ask these people to do a SWOT analysis on you and see what comes back and then work with that and become build up on that. And that's one way to stand out. Because I agree, there's a lot of competition, right? It used to be 5 people would apply for a job. Now 500 apply for a job. So, and you know that I'm preaching to the choir. But you want to stand out, get out of the arena. Let somebody else who's watching you say, David, you're great at whatever, right? And take it from there. See what happens.
Thank you so
What
much.
does
Yeah, I'm
SWOT stand
currently
for,
going
Joey?
through Phil Terry's Never Search Alone program, and we're just about getting to the point where we do that exact thing. So I am starting to think along those lines. So that's the reinforcement is helpful, and I have heard of SWOT, so I'll apply that methodology as well. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Go.
would just add to that, David. One of the biggest things, and honestly, I apply a lot of whether I'm coaching a consultant or a business owner or senior leader, is the biggest thing that we have to do because there's a lot. Like, I mean, as a career coach, there's 100 career coaches, and and rejection is just as much a part of that game as well. And I was also a recruiter for 20 years, but nowadays the market, whether you're selling to a client or you're looking for a job, the key is really what I call the key differentiator. What makes you stand out? What makes you different? So when you are talking to people, like Joey said, what makes you unique? Why should somebody want to hire you? And we have to. And I just published my weekly newsletter on LinkedIn about the value proposition, which applies to both sides of the fence, regardless of what that is. And so, what are you able to really answer that? And we have to get very clear on how we answer that for otherwise, in terms of social media, but also in terms of one-on-one conversations. And so I think that's the biggest key of, especially in today's job market. We have to be able to showcase why we're different. So, you can honestly put yourself into that, whatever bucket you're in, Bobby being a TEDx, coach. What makes him different from another TEDx coach? Why should I hire him? So those are things that we should all be asking ourselves. And David, I'll connect with you on LinkedIn. I got your connection request, and I'll send you that newsletter as well. And also have a LinkedIn Live that I do now doing monthly. So I'll invite you to that as well. So.
Excellent. Thank you.
I think Tim also unmuted. Go ahead, Tim Jacobs.
Oh, I was just asking Joey, what does SWOT stand for? I've never heard of it.
Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat.
Yeah. So
So
what are your
basically it's a snapshot of where you are as a brand or a business, and what you're good at, strengths, weaknesses, what you struggle with, opportunities for you to grow or build, and what are the threats to you actually doing well and being successful. And typically, strength and weaknesses are internal, and opportunities and threats are external things.
and businesses do it all the time,
Yeah.
but to David's point, and everybody's point, when you're selling yourself, you're looking for work, right? And when you're looking for work, you're selling yourself. And you are the product, you are the entity, you are the service, and there's no reason you can't look at yourself as a business or product or service and do a SWOT analysis as well.
And basically what Joey's saying is what I talk about is get clear on your personal brand. Like your personal brand is a SWOT analysis. Part of it is doing analysis, getting feedback from your network. But going back to your point that you talked about, David, I would say there's a few things to keep in mind. There's one piece you talked about, which is being visible, which is what we call visibility and awareness, right? Being seen. Do people see you? Are they aware of you? That's one piece. The second piece is what you talked about, which is also being memorable. Right. It's fine to be aware, but you could be aware everyone could be aware that you're an idiot. So if they're aware that you're actually, memorable in a certain way, actually you could also be memorable as an idiot too. But if you're memorable as someone that's actually really interesting or unique or different, that's great too. And the third thing is what exactly is your point of difference or niche, right? How do you set yourself apart? So let's say you're looking for a job and someone, like, let's say I'm hiring somebody and I get 3 resumes, 3 of them. So and what am I going to do when I hire somebody? I'm gonna search them, and what's going to happen? 3 things are going to happen. I'm going to see a really amazing digital presence or profile or whatever presence. I'm going to see a really shitty digital presence. I'm going to see no presence. So those two are gone. Let's go to the people who has a good now. Here's three people, and they all have pretty good LinkedIn profiles. But one person has put together, and let's say I'm hiring somebody who's going to help me with social media. One person has a newsletter on LinkedIn. I'm using LinkedIn as an example. One person has a newsletter on LinkedIn where they've published 20 articles about how to be better at social media marketing. They've done 100 video posts of tips and tricks that work well for business owners, and the other two have not done that. Now, let's say number two, he's got 30,000 followers, and so he has content that's getting lots of traction, but he's not really talking about the thing that I really care about. And the third person has a LinkedIn profile, but doesn't really do anything with it. So again, these are things that set you apart that make you different. Now, you can't do everything, but there are things you can do to get more notice, right? You have to be mindful of how much time you have, and then how you want to be. How, given the limited amount of time we have, how can you be more visible and aware, being aware? How can you be more memorable, and how can you be more niche? And then at the end of the day, the people who do really well, which is what I talk about with master networking, is the one who are proactive with a plan. You have a plan and you're proactive with it, because a lot of people don't. You know, one of the biggest networking stats that I tell people, I once spoke to an audience of 500 young entrepreneurs between 18 and 29 years old. And this is one of the early days of my speaking career. And I said, hey guys, and I did a good job of speaking. And I was like, this is really great. And I said, I have my business cards here. I will be here the whole day. And if you get my card, you can give me a call and I'll give you 15 minutes of free coaching advice, which I normally would charge for, but you get it for free. Now I don't do that anymore because that was the beginning of my business. I was really hustling more. But out of 500 people who were in that audience, and I was there the whole day, and they're all young, hungry entrepreneurs, right? How many people got my card? 75 people. Out of 75 people, how many people actually reached out to me with a message or a, text or whatever? 17 people. But most importantly, out of the 17 people, how many consistently kept up talking to me and built a relationship with me? That was two. So you can be the 85% in the room that does jack squat, the 15% that actually gets my card, the 4% who actually reaches out to me, or the 0.4% who builds a relationship. I'm telling you, most people don't do that. And so I think that really goes a long way. So I know I feel like thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I was just going to say that. I was like, okay, Bobby just gave his fifth TEDx.
I have so many TEDx talks.
Oh, okay.
It's ridiculous.
I was like, he's finding his mojo there.
Yeah. So, does anyone else want to share what they see as a big challenge for them in terms of their business or their career? And don't tell me everything's perfect, because it's not.
No, it is not. No, it's never perfect. Yeah, for me, I mean, my big thing is scaling my business and growing my business, and building consistent revenue, and kind of getting through that hurdle. That I always say, there's different plateaus that we all hit in all of our, whether in our careers and our businesses, and it's about kind of recognizing those. And so that's I worked really hard the last half of the year, 2025, to move different pieces of my business into a different landscape. And now we just got to have we've got the parts of the machine and it's working, but we need to still fix some things. So that's where we're at right now, and so that's going to be a big focus for me personally.
Well, and I think to your point, Melanie, the challenge that we're talking about is what we call focus. For all of you, we all struggle with focus. Squirrel! I struggle with focus totally. In fact, my biggest challenge is balancing my health, my teenagers, my parents, my business, and now I'm in a musical. How the hell am I going to do that? So balancing all that stuff that I'm doing, to me, is the biggest challenge for me, to be more organized. I have a whole system with I got my paper journal, and I got my phone calendar, all these things I'm trying to do, right? So, focus, the challenge most of us has is that we're trying to do too many things at once, right? And we're all over the place. So, what is that one thing that you're working on to try to build, optimize, and grow? And then maybe you can have a secondary thing, and that's fine too. But it's like if you have a podcast and you're writing a book and you're speaking, and you put a content out there, and you also want to volunteer at this organization, but you also want an advisory board on this thing, and then you also deal with other stuff. It gets to be a lot, right? Like, and I'll give a perfect example with my TEDx thing, which is when it came to TEDx, I was doing a monthly free webinar. I was posting content. I was running a room on Clubhouse. I was also doing a 5-day challenge every couple of months. And I also do like Facebook, Instagram ads. And one of the things I learned is, you know what? Stop doing all those things because what happens is when you analyze the 5 different things, you're trying to find what works, what doesn't work. Well, I was also doing webinars too. So when you analyze different things, you find out what's working. You're getting overwhelmed with data and analytics with the 6 different things that I'm doing to get clients. And so I focus on just the one. What's the one thing that I want to do? So my focus is I use Facebook ads and Instagram ads, and I just focus on making sure the funnel is really good. I provide people tons of information, and I just optimize that one thing. The second thing, of course, is having a strong brand, and people reach out to me to talk with TEDx Talks, and that's fine. That's to me, my secondary is reactive. My primary that's focused is the proactive thing that I'm doing, that I'm building and honing and making better, better, better. And I tell you, putting more energy into one thing is a lot better than putting energy into 5 different things. And so for me, focus, I think, is a really big thing that a lot of people need help with, myself included. Anybody else have any? Actually, before we do that, and I know I know this is longer, but this is a version that we're. I'm going to share one thing. I want to share the platform for those who are curious about this. So this is this is our WhatsApp group where TLB Club members talk to each other, share updates, share links, happy Kwanzaa, share updates, whatnot. But we actually have this little platform here. So this platform, this is where all the magic happens for our community. So basically, there's a box here for general chats. We also have one where people ask questions and advice, like I need help with my video, my sales strategy. I'm looking for help with advice with something. We also have a place where people ask questions about tech because a lot of business owners have tech issues. We also have a section where we talk about LinkedIn. Hey, how do I do my profile? Take a look at my profile. Give me some, what can I do with this? And so these are the ways where people will share. People have share wins and gratitudes. They should talk about their health and wellness. But the whole point of this platform is where people are going to ask questions and get responses and get support whenever they need it. So, if a member is, posting something. So, for example, here's where, Dana created our 2026 version of our brand biz page. And so she share the Google Doc. I looked at it. Other people looked at it. We kind of give our advice on what she should do. Or here's one from Sunny. He created a LinkedIn post, wanted some feedback, so I went to Google Doc, gave him some feedback on it. And then, of course, we have all our events that we do on a regular basis. And basically, we do a weekly check-in call, accountability call. We do a weekly coaching call. And then we have some other thing that's a monthly that week. So week 1 would be a masterclass. Week 2 would be a LinkedIn clinic. Week 3 would be a masterclass. Week 4 would be a LinkedIn clinic, or sorry, a tech clinic. And then we have all our master classes. So we have 200 different master classes of people who come to speak with us. So, this one with Mary Frame Brand talked about how to clone yourself with AI. And like her AI tools were phenomenal. It was one of the best talks I've ever seen. We've had some really, really amazing ones over the while, in terms of how to get business clarity, and how to reach different levels of audiences, how to create, 5-day event experiences, how to be a top communicator. So we've had all these great masterclass over the years where people share lots of information. So that's kind of where all the members of the community get support. So they get support on the calls, they get support in this platform, and they get support with the masterclass and resources. So if anybody has any questions on how that works, you're more than welcome to ask me the question. Otherwise, I want to see if anybody else does anybody have any questions on things they want to talk about or ask or need help with. I mean, that's what this is for. And networking, my big belief in networking is how a lot of people say, networking is selling. It's not. It's about building connection relationships. And the question I often ask people is not only how can I help you, but more specifically, how can I help you make a difference or an impact? And so that's my question. That's my last question for today. If you have a question or you have something you're challenged with or you want something support on, this is the perfect time to ask me and everybody else because that's exactly what networking and TLB Club is all about. So I'm going to open the floor to anything you want to ask, anything you want to talk about for your career, for your business, for your brand. It's open-ended. because otherwise I'm just talking too much. And also, before you do that, I want to share a gift my daughter gave me at Christmas. I'm gonna be so annoying with this thing. Harmonica. Okay. Anyway, I'm opening the floor now. What do you got? Oh, there you go. Thanks, Tim. Oh, thank you. He's got a harmonica. I have no idea how to play this bloody thing, so don't even get me started on this. Um, but I'm learning. But anybody have any questions or things they want to ask or discuss? This is your chance to bring it up. I'd love to hear if you have to share. I mean, David's been really dominating the conversation here with our guests here, but we appreciate David. Anyone else? I see Joel, Sean, Condell, if you have anything you want to ask or share or need help with, or anyone else, Tim, Melanie, Lynn, Joey. Okay. Well, it's like pulling teeth, man. Okay. Well, I'm trying to, I'm always, I'm always happy to help. I guess I go back to the same thing with the challenge, right? I mean, each of you probably have a challenge, right? So the question becomes, what is Joel's challenge? What is Sean's challenge? What is Condell's challenge? What is Tim Murphy's challenge? What is Joey's challenge? What is Lynn's challenge? Tim Jacob? Like, if you can isolate what that challenge is, that can facilitate a very, very powerful discussion. It's also a great thing you can put out there on social media to say, hey, here's my big challenge. You share it, you be personal, you be vulnerable, you be honest, and then you ask people, tell me what your challenge is. What your challenge is. I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest ways to build traction and awareness around what you're trying to do. Vulnerable storytelling is huge on LinkedIn and other platforms too. But you got to be willing to share those challenges. And that's kind of why I'm opening the floor here to see if anybody wants to share anything else. Tim, I see you
Before Dave
unmuted. Tim,
does,
go ahead.
get a chance to talk there. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to jump in here before Dave gets a chance to jump in here then. But I think part of it is I don't know what I don't know. Last year I did everything all the gurus said to do, and it didn't net me anything. And so I kind of spun my wheels, spent a lot of money, uh, and I'm eating dog food until I can get back healthy. But that storytelling, you see that all over the place, and that's probably one right there. Everybody's
You
got
froze
their
for.
own
Oh,
thoughts.
okay.
I just don't know. Yeah, but the back to on the storytelling part of it is, you got your hero and all that stuff. But yeah, again, that's even something else I really don't know about.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Tim. And I'll tell you, like, I see people who are doing 100 things, and and they're trying everything, but they're not really thinking about what actually makes sense. And the other thing I see, like, I saw another person, he just said, it's day two of my 300-day video challenge. I'm like, oh man, like 300 days? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, that's a lot of time and effort to doing so, right? Um, and what I've learned, and that's kind of the reason why one of the things we're doing now with this new TLB 2026 thing is everybody who joins TLB Club now will fill out a deep dive evaluation form that goes into what they're doing, what their assets are, what they're good at, what they suck at, and what's working, what's not working. And then on the call, I will go in and painstakingly go through every little thing because most programs, coaching programs, all that kind of stuff. I will tell you the problem with most of them. 80% of them, they do this terribly. You don't get access to them. There's no one answering your questions in a timely manner. There's no one being very honest about what the right thing to do is. And they're often not focused on actual monetization or client acquisition in the right way. So if you're doing a lot of these programs, they don't give you that access. They don't give you that honesty. They don't give you that plan, that strategy to tactically look at things. And, or they promise you the world, but it's got to be, it takes work. Like I say, like, the people who join my TEDx programs, the people who join the TLB Club, the ones who get actions are the ones who actually are willing to do the work and be honest and take those steps. But there's always someone who comes back 6 months, 12 months later, Bobby, I didn't get the result. I said, okay, fine, show me what you got. And then I see they've done actually jack shit. And it's like, come on, seriously? You've done nothing. I don't say it like that. I'm usually nicer on the calls. I'm telling you, because that's exactly what happens though. But it's really a big problem. And so, that's why TLB Club is doing things differently. That's why my TEDx Mastery Program is doing things differently. I'm really big on accessibility. I'm really big on hand holding. I'm really big on let's just get on a call, man, and flush this out over 20 minutes. But who shows up? Only 10, 20% show up. That's just the way it is. But the 10, 20% who show up, and of that 10, 20%, the other 10, 20% of that 10, 20%, which is basically 2% or 4%, do the work and come back. And when that happens, yes, you will be on a path. And then the last part is being consistent, showing up each time. I mean, I was part of Weight Watchers. And what do they make you do at Weight Watchers? You have to show up to meetings. And what's the other thing you have to do at Weight Watchers? You guys know? You have to show up. What else do you have to do? You have to weigh yourself in front of everybody. Now, why is that? Because that's called accountability. And if I have a really shitty week, I'm going to be, and I'm weighing myself in front of everybody else. I'm going to be there telling people, being vulnerable and talking about what happened, what went wrong, and maybe coming with a plan that's going to be a little better. And if I start to even, let's say, lose 2 pounds and I'm waiting for people, they cheer me on. And it feels great. So then I keep going. And the next week, I'm way more likely to be 4 pounds down and get even more cheered on. And if I screw up, and let's say I have a binge episode and I gain 1.5 pounds back, and I show up, I'm going to have a group of people that are supporting me saying, it's okay, Bobby, don't worry about it. What's the plan now? What happened? What's the plan now? And I go back and maybe I'll lose another 2 pounds. But that's the thing. You have to show up, be accountable, be vulnerable, and put the plan and action together. And that's where the magic happens. But I think that a lot of these programs, the people out there who are sharing various things, and I've been part of programs too. I've invested twice in programs that didn't work out for me. Mostly because I didn't have a handholding, I didn't have accessibility. They're like, here are these 12, here are these 100 modules, go through them, and good luck to you. I'm like, damn, I can't. That's a lot. Or run this tech thing and see what happens. It didn't really work for me, right? So I think that to your point, Tim, I think that it's really important to have the handholding, the accessibility, a place where people can answer questions and a place where you can go and get on a call and talk about what's going on. And that to me is incredibly important. So that's kind of my take. Anybody else have any other thoughts on what Tim Murphy was saying?
I think you just got to keep plugging away. If it doesn't work today, do something tomorrow that's different. You can't keep banging your head against the wall. It's going to hurt after a while. So, it's easy for me to say. It's probably not simple to do, but what option do you have? You're not going to sit at home, assume the fetal position, and suck your thumb. I don't think. Right. So,
yeah.
Well, maybe you will. I mean, Tim, you might, but most people, in fact, most people will. Right. But what are you going to do? You gotta be resilient. I know Bobby talked about that earlier. There's got to be something else to do.
Trust the process. Go ahead, David.
And I've learned that if you've done the same thing a few times and it hasn't worked, go to something else, do it again in a few months. It's just the timing might not be right, or whoever you're trying to get hold of, you're getting them at the bad time. But if you get them the right day, the right time with persistence, sometimes that can make all the difference in the world. That's something I've learned.
Yeah.
But don't just do anything for the sake of doing it. Make sure it's validated. Make sure someone gives you feedback on it. Make sure it makes sense for you and the person. Like, I can be an expert telling people how to do something, but it's got to make sense to both people. And if it doesn't make sense to them, they're not going to do it really well.
Yeah.
When I lost weight in Weight Watchers, I understood the counting points thing. I could see how it worked for me, and it did work. I lost 20 pounds. It was great. So I totally got it, which is kind of cool. And similarly, when I talk about how to grow your business or how to get a TEDx talk, I have a certain plan. Does this make sense? If it doesn't make sense, then they either don't understand why it makes sense or doesn't make sense, or they're not the right person. But I just say, look, everything I've done, I'm saying I can guarantee you TEDx talk. I'm saying I can get you 20% monetization growth for your digital strategy because I know I can do it because I've helped people before. But again, it's got to be something that makes sense. You have to validate it, and yeah, what you do is you validate, you monitor, you measure, and if it's not working, then we make some adjustments. We try to get feedback to find out what's going on, what's not working. I mean, when I launched my Facebook ads with my coaching program, the first Facebook ads, some didn't work so well, and I got feedback from the experts saying, well, based on this, these two are not working. Let's shut those down. Let's focus on these three. And the next thing you know, my average, cost per booking and call was starting to get lower, which was great. That's exactly what I wanted. I started out at, 25, $30 per opt-in, went down to 15 to 10. Now I'm down to like $7 per opt-in. And my cost per book call went from 200 to 150 to 100. Now it's between 50 to $70, which is great, right? So I'm working on and trying on enhancing that type of stuff. But if something goes wrong, we shut it down and move to something else. So I think that's great too. Good insight. Okay, well, if Condell, Sean, or Joel have anything they want to share, or I hope you're getting something value out of our networking event here. This is run by TLB Club, which we said before is a multi-membership community. If you want to learn more about it, one of the best things you can do is come by to one of our calls. We have a masterclass call twice a month. We have a tech clinic once a month. We have a LinkedIn clinic once a month. Whichever one you think is most you need the most. Try to get a member to sponsor you to come into one of the calls. You have to come in with a guest as a guest of one of the members. So get one of the members to sponsor you, or you can try a membership. We used to say come by as for a month of membership, but we're saying, look, if you want real transformation, we're saying invest in the $800 for the entire year. We're saying invest in the $425 for the 6 months. You'll get the evaluation, you'll get the one-on-one call with me. I'll introduce you to the other in-house experts, and we'll show you exactly how to build that transformation. But again, a good starting point is to just come to one of our calls. This is a good example of a call that's free to come to. And if the other members here, like Tim and Joey and Melanie and myself, that you can see, network with them, and maybe they can invite you to one of the other calls that we do. But with that, I think I don't want to keep you guys too long with anything. Melanie, any last words? But in case you don't know, I'm Captain Kirk. Melanie's my Spock. Okay, so she's the smart one that runs the ship better than Kirk and all his squirrel with the green lady. So Melanie, any last thoughts here?
Usually Spock finds a squirrel or two and adventure, but so. No, I just encourage, just a lot of great advice. Obviously, not, one of the things I think from this event is, not quote unquote your average networking event. And I think that's important is to surround yourself with like-minded people that are growth oriented. If you're growth oriented and are looking to make changes, that's the key is to find your people that you can be around that are going to help you achieve those goals. And I think that's just another thing I'd add is find the people that can help, that support you and support your goals. That's something that's really important no matter where you are in life is having the right people, not just say stuff to you for the blowing smoke and stuff like that, but that can be real with you, but also very supportive and understanding it is possible to achieve. If one person's done it, then it's possible for you to do it.
Right. I love that. Thanks, Melanie. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming by today, particularly our guests, Tim, David, Condell, Sean, Joel. Thanks to Joey, Melanie, and Tim for being here. We had other people as well that were here. Amolia, there was Lynn. Thanks for them coming by. And if you want to learn more about what we're all doing, make sure you connect with us, follow us all on the different platforms, get to know each other. Put your links in the chat here, and we'll see you out there. Have yourself a wonderful 2026. In case you didn't know, my word of 2026 is revival, because I'm reviving certain aspects of my speaking business. I'm reviving my health journey, and I'm also in a musical, and musicals are tied to revivals. So I thought, hey, that's a great word. So with that, thanks so much for being here. And for members, we'll share the replay. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thanks,
So
everyone.
long.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Sayonara. Ciao.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.